Welcome to Bleav In 76ers with your hosts, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow and two Sixers fanatics in Marcus and Teja Dash. Bleav In 76ers is presented by BetOnline.AG.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BLEAV for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bleav In 76ers podcast. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary 76ers point guard Eric Snow and my brother Teja Dash. Guys, not the start we wanted, we hoped for this series, but yeah, we're gonna kind of get into it. Lots to get into from these two games, specifically the game 2 that we saw. But yeah, just what's going through your guys' head after what you saw last night?
Disappointment. I thought for the most part, we let game 1 kind of slip away. Game 2 we gave away. So, and the playoffs in the series, that's hard, especially on the road, knowing that we have to win a road game to win this series. So, highly disappointed and not being able to close that game out.
Teja,
it was. I've seen some brutal Sixer games, so I'm calloused over it. So it's been a lot of those over the years. But it was like, yeah, it was pretty gut wrenching. What was the word Embiid kept using? Inexcusable. Inexcusable. There you go. There's the word of the day. There's the word of the game. Definitely, it was inexcusable. It was, tough. Hopefully they can just learn from this and grow. But this is what they mean when they say like playoff experiences. These kind of games you have to experience sometimes. You have to hit the lows before you can realize, what the highs are.
I mean, some of the main guys in the squad have hit those, have seen these kind of outcomes before. Some of the Hawks games we had were up 20 points. And I love this for the fact that people who just wanted to scapegoat Doc Rivers for the last few years and say, oh, it was all Doc. That was a very, people want to say only Doc loses leads like that. Well, we did it with a different coach last night. So, what I want to ask you, what do you guys think what the worst part was of that? I mean, we're up 5 with like 40 seconds left in that game last night, and it just evaporates like that. What do you think the worst part of that game was last night?
To be honest with you, it's hard to just pinpoint one thing.
Yeah.
I would say, because it's like the number. I'll just choose one thing. No, I'm sorry. I'll choose multiple things.
Yeah,
choose one as kind of the lead to it. And the reason why is defensive rebounding, because that's a carryover from the previous game was getting them off the offensive boards. And now essentially you can point at that for a major reason you lost. Cure the rebound. I know we got more things to talk about, so I'll just say that part right there would be the most disappointing, because it was a point of emphasis going into the game, and it's what really, really broke your back at the end of the game with those last couple possessions.
I had a bunch. I'll just, in no order, I'll just go over a few of them. One, I had noted ref inconsistency. I don't like that they made this point of emphasis of not letting players jump into guys anymore and create fouls. They did a really good job of stopping Trae Young. They don't really let him have these calls anymore, but Brunson has a little Trae Young in him where he's driving with someone on his back hip and he jumps backwards into them, and they call that foul. They said they weren't going to call that anymore. They still do. Maxey, I put Maxey as Butterfingers because at the end of the Miami game, and even Joel mentioned this, at the end of the Miami game, we almost gave them a very similar back-breaking, choking last possession to maybe win that game against Miami, where they kind of both touched it and went out of bounds. But I can't clearly give them crap for this one because Brunson did have a handful of his jersey. And I know people are like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. But if you're trying to go full speed and someone has your jersey in their hands and then they just let you go, you're going to kind of like lose, not balance, but you can't control your speed. If you're trying to catch a ball and someone just kind of slingshots you, it's not going to be a clean catch. He's not a professional wide receiver. Nurse did do a little pump faking on the first timeout. He kind of like did that. He was like that. You're not going to no, you can't get that. You have to. I've seen guys do this in a ref's face and not get a timeout call. You can't like do that and then get a timeout call. It's not going to happen. The second one, it looked like he did do that, but that was also fast. I mean, Maxey didn't have the ball, which drives me to my next point. Just hold on to the ball. I mean, like, Maxey was trying to pass it to somebody. I mean, just hold on to it. And you have a timeout. So just at worst, if he held on to it, what would have happened? Jump ball? That would have been the worst, right? If they just try to grab it from him on the ground. And maybe at that point they would have called a timeout, gave us a timeout. But like he just tried to get rid of it so quickly as if we were losing or something. We weren't even losing, dude, that we were winning still. Where are the other Sixer players, right? We had two Knicks surrounding Maxey on the floor. And then the ball goes up about 3 seconds later on a three, and they still can't get a rebound. So it's like, what are you guys doing? Like, if you're not going to try to attack the ball when Maxey's trying to get rid of it, then at least attack the boards. We didn't do either one, right? That's frustrating. And closing out games. We play max effort for most of the game, but the last 20 seconds, if you don't play max effort there, all the rest of your work goes to shit. Embiid was obviously hurting. That was rough. Stuck at 10 rebounds for a half. He didn't get a single rebound in the second half. That's rough. And you can see it, man. He's putting like half a body on somebody. He's not really attacking the ball because he probably can't. So yeah, I'm sorry. Those are a bunch right there.
Since you went ahead and mentioned it all, I'll go ahead and talk about all my gripes then.
Please.
I do. Maxey takes some heat. I think Kyle and Nick Nurse should get more. Kyle Lowry trying to quick inbound the ball, and he threw it hard for a guy that's close.
Yeah.
You never take the ball out underneath. You never take the ball out underneath the basket. You can't throw it long. So you're supposed to always catch the ball and clear the basket. That tells you that Kyle's got a guy that doesn't really usually take the ball out like that. Or he just made a mistake that I know he knows. I know he knows that you don't take the ball out underneath. And the only time you're going to quick inbound is if it's a clear inbound. You can wait and let the referee go get the ball and give it to you. Then that time you have a time to call a timeout. But I didn't think his pass was clear. I didn't think Maxey wanted the ball. I thought he was kind of flopping for a foul, trying to get a foul instead of trying to get the ball. And then, like you said, when he's on the ground, you just got to hold the ball. The worst thing that can happen if you hold the ball is a jump ball. And then you can at least set your defense. Then we got to, the scramble, like I understand the scramble and the guy getting that first shot, but that rebound, Joel got to block out. He got to block him out and go get the rebound, man.
Yeah.
So his guy's the one that got the rebound. So if somebody got to gain rebounds, not like they had 5 guys in their rebound. They only had really 1 or 2.
I think we had 3.
They had a wide open shot, fewer guys at the board, and still got the rebound. So, and then lastly, Nurse got to do a better job at calling timeout. I get he called it and do all that. Go on the court.
Yeah.
Go on the court. Go on the referee's face.
Yeah.
You looked indecisive.
Yes.
Did he call timeout with his hands? Yes. Do we know if he called it verbally? I don't know. He might have said he did, but I couldn't tell. All I'm saying is watching it live, I didn't see an animated guy trying to get a timeout. Right? But the timeout should have been called after Brunson hit the 3.
Yes, right away.
Out immediately to advance the ball.
Yes.
To advance the ball, because once you inbound it, you can't advance it anyway. To advance the ball, put your free throw shooters in, whomever you want in the game to run a play to get your free throw shooters. That should have been automatic. It should have been, hey, out of the initial timeout before the defensive possession, miss or make. If miss, let's take care of the basketball. They got to foul us, be strong with the ball. On a make, we got a timeout, advance the ball. You already know this. And even if you're not telling everyone, you're telling 1 or 2 guys. For them to have that relationship and that trust that they have, them 2 should have been in sync. And he should have been calling the timeout. Larry Brown would have pulled me to the side and be like, hey, they scored this basket. Look at me before you take that ball out. Because I took the ball out. If it was a late game like that, I was the one that took it out. But there was no need to look and rush. You look at the coach. You got a timeout. There's no need to rush if you have a timeout. We're winning.
I know.
So I mean, the blame goes around. The blame goes around. And I think out of all of those people, the last people I would blame is the referees. I would blame all of them before the referees, because you had every opportunity to win the game without involving the referees. You get a rebound, you secure it, they got to foul you. You inbound the ball and secure it, they got to foul you.
I know.
That has nothing to do with the referees. We allow the referees to be a part of the game in the end.
Yep.
So it's highly disappointing. That was one of the first times that I was like really, really disappointed. I don't really get like animated like that. But that particular game, because I think it was self-inflicted more than it was referee inflicted.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no downside to calling the timeout. Like, even if Nurse maybe didn't want it, if Kyle called it, Nurse wouldn't have yelled at him. There are still pros to that. Like, there's just no downside to calling that timeout. I don't see a bad reason to do it.
So I'm telling you right now, you on a make, these are things that you talk about. On a make, you take the ball out of bounds. Nobody else, and I would be like, don't nobody go near the ball. Don't just go down the court. I'll take it out. So then that gives you the ability to look at the coach and see what he wants. Are we getting it in? Okay, we're going to get it in. So I know if we're getting the ball in and we're not calling the timeout, I'm going to secure the ball. I'm going to start on the left side. So then when I run the baseline, I'm going to run to the right side. So my strong hand, my right hand, so I can go just in case I need to throw a long pass. So I'm running. Yeah. It makes it easier for me to throw a long pass if I need to throw a long pass with my strong hand. This is stuff you practice. It's called situations. Everybody talks about situations. We screwed up situations. Yeah, so let's blame all that before we ever blame a referee.
Yeah. No, we panicked. We acted like we were down. right there. But even if you're down, you call a timeout. There's no scenario where you don't call a timeout there. I will say this.
You're more inclined to call a timeout when you're down than when you're up.
I will say this. Lowry, I've noticed this. He rushes a lot of inbounds. He loves to throw the ball to the ref and be like, here, come on. But not there. You don't do that then. That is one time. Let the ref take his sweet ass time getting you the ball. Get set. I think he was just trying to get into Maxi's hands as quickly as possible so Maxi can get fouled. We can move on. But what if they didn't foul him? How much time was left there? 15 seconds, 18 seconds?
I want to say it was 27 seconds.
So they didn't have to foul him. They could have just cornered him.
I thought it was 13 seconds or so. I don't remember. But it was enough time for you to not rush.
And not only that, let's say he did get the ball in the deep corner. Maybe they wouldn't have fouled him. Maybe they just would have let the 8-second go. Because if you trap him in the corner there, he's got nowhere to go. We have to call a timeout anyway. So even if he caught it, there'd be no guarantee he got fouled right there. Maybe they would have, but they didn't have to if they have 13 seconds left. They could have let the 8-second shot clock go, and we would have called timeout there. So it was brutal, man. It was brutal, and it sucks because that's one of the reasons why you do have a Kyle Lowry there, and it's fitting that he's kind of the guy that led that pass in problem. So not to say it all goes on him, it doesn't. There's a lot of share blame. It was a boom, 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 blame here, blame here, blame here, blame here.
Yeah, there was 27 seconds when that inbound was in. Brunson.
He
hits the 3 or 30 seconds left. I think by the time it goes through the net, it was 27 seconds. Then inbound happens at 27.
Yeah,
and then the scramble ensues.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't have fouled us. They would have trapped us in the corner.
Yeah. Well, since we talked about officiating, that leads us to our next topic here. So shortly after the game came out, the Sixers intend to file a grievance with the NBA over the officiating across the first 2 games of the series with the Knicks. There's some of the laundry list of complaints the 76ers have, and I have them listed here. Sixers were disadvantaged by 2 calls in the last 2-minute report from game 1, an incorrect no call on a foul from Robinson on Maxey, and an incorrect no call on a traveling violation committed by Brunson. Philadelphia believes Nick Nurse called for a timeout twice on the inbounds pass that swung the game in the final 2 minutes, once prior to the inbounds pass and once following the ball getting to Maxey on the floor. The other one, which I still don't really understand this one, the Knicks have included private information about the referees in their media game notes. I don't really understand why that's an issue. And then the last one, the Sixers have been the most disadvantaged team in the last 2-minute report this season. A report compiled in early April showed that the Sixers have been disadvantaged on 22 calls in these reports during the regular season compared to 11 such errors going against opposing teams, the worst such ratio in the NBA. Obviously, nothing's probably going to come of a grievance. I don't even understand what the point is. But what do you make of the case the 76ers have, Eric, Teja?
I don't think they win. I mean, I can see the referees. I mean, you can always have a grievance for a referee all the time. But in this particular situation, we had too many self-inflicted wounds for me to even worry about what the referees did. You could have won one out of these 2 games on the road. You should have won.
Yeah.
And I think you could have won that game outside of however you feel about the referees. So it's hard for me to go jump on the referees then when we having so many of these things that happen in the game that we could have changed the outcome from. So you do what you have to do. I don't expect anything from it. You just got to go back to your home games and win.
I mean, what can they really do? I mean, replay the last 20 seconds. I mean, there's nothing that can be done, right? Give us a 10-point lead to start the game the next game. I mean, what can you do? It's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But could you say this is more of a gamesmanship type thing where we're doing this and hoping that the refs maybe go at this game more even-handed approach at game 3 and just kind of giving a more fair thing because we're saying, hey, we see what's going on. We're having this grievance. We're not going to get anything from it, but this could be something like that.
So you're telling the referees to do what? Give them an advantage?
You know how they have a makeup call we want like a makeup game is what we want.
Yeah, that's more or less what I'm saying with why there would be any kind of reason for doing a grievance.
I'm not. I get what they're saying they're doing, but at the end of the day, you gotta win the game, man.
Yeah.
So you gotta win the game. It was different referees, and in the two games, you put yourself in position to win. You have to win the game.
Yeah.
You got two All-Stars on your team, a 17-year veteran, another 15, 14 or whatever plus year veteran on there, another 10 or 12-year veteran, all on the court. Win the game, man. All you had to do was inbound the ball, secure the ball, call a timeout, and make free throws. You win. So if you want to talk about the 47 minutes before that, then talk about the 47 minutes before that. But you had a chance to win in the last 30 seconds of the game. And that's all you can ask for sometimes. It's giving yourself an opportunity. We didn't make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, if they're trying to just curry some favor with the refs before next game, I talked to a diehard Knick fan friend of mine, and his response was, "Go back to the Reggie Miller game. We've dealt with this shit for years, so it's about time we got one." That was his reply to that. So there you go, Knick fans. No more complaining about the Reggie Miller thing anymore. There you go. It took like 30 years, but no more. That's it. Done. You got it. You got it back. You got it took 30 years to get that payment back. So done.
Yeah. And also, you had LeBron and his post-game presser after the Nuggets and Lakers game, after that disaster. He cited the fact that, D'Lo got fouled, they didn't call it, and then he cited the Sixers-Knicks ending. He said it's getting ridiculous here. So even LeBron's taking notice of what was happening to the Sixers.
Well, the difference was D'Lo's foul was reviewed. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They should have like a throwing a red flag like in football. Like, they right in the middle of a play, just throw the flag and be like, "I don't like what just happened." Review that. Review him getting tugged on the jersey or something. Yeah.
Yeah, no, throw somebody on the court.
You don't want that. No, you don't want
that. All right, so I guess enough about the losses here. As Maxey said in his post-game presser, you move on, you go to the next game. We can't dwell on that. So we're going to go to our talk about Game 3. So following the Game 2 loss, Joel Embiid made it clear that the 76ers are winning the series. Quote, "We are good. We're going to win the series. We're going to win this. We know what we got to fix. We did a better job today, so we're going to fix it. We are the better team. We are going to keep fighting." So question to you guys is, what adjustments would you make going into Game 3? And what are you telling the team if you are Nick Nurse heading into Game 3?
I mean, for the most part, you got to try to stay confident. Try to get yourself ready to win a basketball game and know that we got to execute to make it happen for 48 minutes, not 47 minutes and 40 seconds. So make sure that you're doing everything you can to help the team win. For the most part, you can make a few adjustments here and there, but it's going to come down to effort, execution, and energy. So making sure that you have that. The fans is going to be behind them. You have to give them a reason to cheer. So you have to do that from the beginning of the game, make them feel your presence, and make it tough on them, and let them know it's not happening here. Got to take care of home and put some pressure back on them once we secure 2 games at home.
I had that exact 47-40 note. You can't play most of the game. You got to play that way all the game. And boxing out in the last possession when you're up by 1 possession is a big deal. It's tough because I think we played great last 2 games. I think our game plan's been solid. what do we say before game one? If Maxey equals what Brunson does, we should win these games. He's played better than Brunson. He's outscored him by, I think, like 10, 12, 15 points. Like you tell me before the game, Brunson shoots like 20-something% and Maxey outscores him by like 10 and we lose, I would think that's crazy. But if you also told me Hart's like 8 for 8, or Hartenstein's like 8 for 8, Hart's averaging like 25 points, and DiVincenzo is hitting like 4 threes a game, I'd also say we probably lost that game. So, you can go either way with those things. I think overall we've had a good game plan. I think we play a good defense on them. We just need to be consistent throughout the game. When we make a run, don't let them come back and just make a run to get back up by 5 again. Like, put it on them a little bit. Keep that lead to when they make a run, let them get it down to like 5, and then we get it back up again. Rebounding, I think it's the biggest takeaway because it's been the most consistent problem for us this series. And if Embiid's going to not be as impactful on the board, especially in the second half, we got to figure out something. I don't know what that is. And then the other problem this series so far that we still haven't corrected is bench scoring. I don't know what they're going to do with that, but if it takes starting Batum and Oubre and maybe having Tobias come off the bench to just be the volume scorer off the bench for us and just go nuts and just take over ISO ball, then sure, do it. I don't know what the solution is for that, but they need to try something. They need to do something to jolt our bench scoring.
Yeah, Maxey's outscored Brunson 68 to 46 through the first 2 games. So,
man.
Yeah. What comments about what Embiid said? Obviously, I know we want our star guy to be saying to having that confidence still in this. What is your guys' confidence level going into the rest of the series? Are you guys as confident as Embiid is?
Yeah, I still feel that we can win the series. I just think we have to win games 3 and 4. And when we win games 3 and 4, we can win 2 out of 3. We can win 1 game over there. So I've won some series when I've been down 0-2. So I believe it will get done. But you got to establish some dominance and we got to play better collectively. I expect some 1 or 2 double-figure wins in the next 2 games. You got to put some doubt in their mind. They're playing a little too confident right now.
Yeah. It's like it reminds me kind of like the Heat series against us. Like their role players feel like they're guys. Like they feel like they're like main guys on a team. And once those guys feel like they're the guy on a team and they can put up 25 like that, that's a problem. Then Brunson doesn't have to try to shoot because we're actually benefiting from Brunson forcing shots and not shooting well. When he feels like he can rein it back a bit and lean on some of these guys to do what they're doing anyway, then that's going to be even worse for us. So, yeah.
All right, so I guess to our final topic here, guys. So Game 3 picks. So our next show will be on Friday, but Game 3 is Thursday night on the same night as the NFL draft. So Sixers opened up as a 3-point favorite at home on Thursday, but now that line is now up to 4.5 points. The Sixers are a 4.5-point favorite at home. Who do you guys have in this one, and what's your score?
We're going to win, and we're going to cover. I mean, I think that we'll win, and I think we'll have a lead in the fourth quarter, and they'll pull their guys.
I think somewhat of the opposite. I think we have a good lead, and I think they kind of chew at it late. We win with some, free throws, but I think we get a little tense in the end. They get it a little too close for us, but I do think we're right around that covering point. I think we win by like 4 or 5, so it's right around there.
After seeing last night, I don't think our fan base can handle another nail biter like that.
Yeah, well, so far that's been the best series, right?
Yeah, both games being competitive. Yeah,
Both, yeah.
But Eric, do you think that all the home teams will win out? Because so far, all the home teams have won every game so far. Do you think that's going to continue, or do you see any games coming up here tonight that could be an away team that wins?
I could see Phoenix winning in Minnesota. That wouldn't surprise me. If I could see Indiana winning without Giannis, if Giannis doesn't play, I could see Indiana winning. Even the Mavericks. I mean, I can see the Mavericks winning with Kawhi out. So I think it happens today. I would say it happens today. One of those three teams win. One of those three road teams win today.
Would you be shocked? I saw one betting expert was like, take all the home teams today, take it until finally one breaks. Would you be shocked if all home teams just went 2-0, Eric? Would that shock you?
No, that wouldn't shock me. I mean, it was, if you looked at the series, I mean, the teams that had the better record are the teams that are in head. They had a better record for a reason. So that wouldn't surprise me. So it wasn't any series that I went in and said, hey, this team is in trouble at home. I mean, you kind of have to believe it after the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the one game that you felt that home win streak was over. Then Denver came back and won it. So now it's like I said, I think today is the day. I'm not sure New Orleans can do it. I'm not sure Miami can do it. So I believe if it's going to get done, it's going to get done today.
Yeah, it's a good guess. I think those the three teams today, I think would be a good bet.
With our luck, if it does be a sweep for the home games, with our luck, it would be us to be the first team to lose a home game.
That would be terrible.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
That would be awful.
That'd be very bad.
Many reasons.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that does it for us. Hope you guys enjoyed our episode. We'll see you guys Friday as we react to a Game 3, hopefully a Game 3 victory on Friday. Hope everybody enjoys the rest of the playoffs and the NFL draft Thursday night. We'll see you guys Friday.
Later on.
All right. Take it easy.